Hey, folks, let's talk about Trump Derangement Syndrome, TDS, as they call it. And I want to talk about it because I've been accused of it a lot recently. So let's just talk about it. Let's try to understand it. First of all, we need to understand its origins because, like everything else, Trump just stole it and slapped his fucking name on it. And now people, idiots mostly, morons that follow him and love to just lick the orange Cheeto dust off his taint. They're like, Trump, DTF, TDS, you got TDS. They do that. And so they think that it's like this, he's just so clever, right? He's not. The term derangement syndrome was actually coined by, I don't know if you remember the guy, he's kind of obscure now, but Charles Krauthammer, who used to be a talking head and a political analyst on like Fox News and other places like that. He talked about how people had derangement syndrome over George Bush. I think W actually. So this was his way of like when people like me would speak up and say, hey, Bush is a tool and we shouldn't be listening to him because he sucks and he's an idiot. When I would do that, people like Krauthammer would get on and be like, you have a derangement syndrome because he's so good as president. And to be fair, in comparison to Trump, W is like a golden god, honestly. Like if you're just playing the comparison game, I'm just saying. But we know they both suck, right? Like they both suck shit. They both are awful presidents. But so that's where it comes from. But again, Trump just took his name, slapped it on there, and a bunch of idiots were like, that's so clever. You're such a clever president. I'm going to call people that. I'm going to say that that's what people have from now on because I don't have the ability to think for myself because I am a fucking moron. So that's where that comes from, right? Now, now it's important to understand that the way that this is used is to say that people like me or like many of you that have anything critical to say about him, well, obviously we're irrational in our way of thinking about him because he's actually good in some areas because he's a businessman and he's this and he's that and he's got all these things going for him, but somehow he's this great person, but we can't call him out on the bad things. We can't say it because then we have a derangement syndrome. This is how they think. This is genuinely how they think. We can't be critical of this man because if we're critical of him, but we weren't critical of Biden or we weren't critical of Obama, then obviously we have a derangement syndrome. But what if you were critical of those guys? What if you were critical of their actions and their choices and things like that? Does that mean you no longer have a Trump derangement syndrome? I'm just wondering because that's never clear. They just automatically assume that I'm like this only for Trump. Well, to be fair, I have hated Trump since, let's see, I was born in 1975. I remember being very, very young. It was probably 1980, 81 that I remember like morning show radio hosts when my mom would drive me to school and they would be on the radio making fun of Trump. This dude has been a fucking punchline my entire fucking life. That's not a joke. He has never once been anything to emulate, anybody to look up to. Nobody gave a fuck about him because he ruins everything he touches. He always has. How the fuck do you bankrupt a fucking casino? Like, let's just say that right up front, because that's the biggest thing. Well, we know why he did it. We know how he did it, right? Like, we understand that. But if you're running things on the up and up, if you're actually trying to run the business, then you literally can't. There's a phrase, the house always wins. If you're the fucking house, it should be fucking impossible to go bankrupt. And yet this great businessman was able to do it with no problem. And you guys are like, oh, hey, it is what it is. He was just playing the system. No, he was being a fucking criminal and using the fucking casinos as a front. Anybody ever seen the fucking movie Goodfellas? That's what he was doing with his casinos. And just because he didn't get caught, that doesn't mean he's smart. It just means that law enforcement is dumb and that a lot of them are corrupt, which is something that I talk about all the time on here. And a lot of you maggots actually get in my comments and berate me on that as well. Well, go fuck yourself on that topic as well. But we'll get to that another time. The other thing about this is that not only is he just a horrible fucking businessman, but the only reason anybody knows anything about him anymore, other than the fact that he's ruined our country, is the fact that he was on The fucking Apprentice where he pretended to be a good businessman. But this is a man that has lost money in almost every single venture up until he had the ability to rig the game. That's the only time that he's ever actually made money, is when he got the fucking levers of power and all of the government behind him so that he could rig it so that he could make money. And boy, has he. Here's the thing about it. If you want to talk about Trump derangement syndrome, I think it's the people that follow him that truly have a derangement syndrome. It's the people that still defend him. Because what does it say about you as a person This is a guy that is we know he's a pederast. Like, you can't really deny it. Like, at this point in time, if you deny that, any opinion you have should immediately be thrown out the window, because we know it's true. We've got literally fucking 13,000 or whatever the fuck it is files saying it. And those are just the unredacted ones. So we know that he's a pederast. We know that he's a rapist. We know that he's a fucking con artist. We know that he's a criminal. We know that he lies on record, that we know of, a definable metric that we can actually track more than any other politician. As a matter of fact, more than most politicians combined on record. He lies every single day. He lies on average 21 times a day if he's in front of a camera. 21 times a day. That is his average. And you still go to bat for him? What does that say about you? What does that say about you and your ability to, judge a character, first of all? What does it say about what you value? What does it say about what you're willing to tolerate? What does it say about what you're willing to emulate? What does it say about what you're willing to lift up as an example to your children? Listen, far be it from me to make this judgment, but if you're willing to judge me for having TDS, I can absolutely make the judgment that if you follow Trump, if you support Trump, you are more than likely an awful fucking parent. Because this is what you emulate. This is what you say. Be like this, son. Be like this man. Be like this man who fucking like cheated on his wife with a porn star. Like do that, son. Yeah, go get him, kiddo. Like, listen, grab him by the pussy. Grab him by the pussy, son. That's what we do as men, right? If you're a man and you come to bat for Trump, you're not really a fucking man. You're a pile of fucking shit is what you are. You're just like him. And that doesn't mean that you're winning. That doesn't mean that just because he's got control of the fucking government right now that somehow you're right. It just means that you fucking suck on his... I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to try to be nice, at least with some of my language. His thing. His mushroom-shaped thing. That's what you do. You just love it so much. You don't do it because you're gay. You do it because you like the taste. And that's the thing about it. This dude is full of hatred. He's a xenophobe. And you're like okay with that. You're fine with him being a racist. You're fine with him saying some of the most horrible things about our troops, about our servicemen. You're fine with it. You're good with it. It doesn't bother you at all. And yet you sit there and you beat your chest on the 4th of July and talk about how great America is. Listen, if anybody's got a TDS, if anybody's got some sort of syndrome that is making them not see reality, it is very, very obvious to literally every single person other than you that want to comment on this video that you are the ones that are fucking like just gone, like almost irredeemable, unsalvageable. Like the rest of the country, which is a majority of the country, honestly sees you and wants to throw you onto the scrap bin of fucking history with this pile of shit president. That's not an exaggeration. I don't know. We all live in our little echo chambers, and I know there's a lot of you. I know there's probably, say 30 million of you, maybe 40 million of you. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But, the thing about it is that we don't know, because now all of our elections are fucked up because of the man that talks about election problems. Because he fucked up everything, because he can't stand losing. Because he's a poor fucking loser. He's not a fucking man. He's a giant pile of shit, and you guys love him for it. And that says everything about all of you, and nothing about the people that speak out against it. The people that speak out against it are the true Americans. We're fighting to try to reclaim some aspect of not just this country, but this country's fucking soul. What we're supposed to be. And you and the people that follow him are literally following him off the fucking cliff. And he doesn't give a fuck about you. He doesn't care about you. He's not making any of his decisions thinking about you. He fucking hates you, and you love him for it. So let's reevaluate who has TDS, because I call him out for what he does, and you just love. I actually had to edit out what I said there because it was not kind. So I'm just going to stop there. Everybody take care of yourself and take care of others. I'll talk to you soon.